Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with a blog to watch. Today I'm going to review the Panerai Luminor Due 42mm watch on the bracelet. This version is the PAM 01539, which designates this beautiful red burgundy dial, which is what sold me in the first place and wanted to review this. I'm really into this sort of red burgundy color right now. I've never worn a Panerai that's had this color. There might be a few others, but actually I think this is the first Panerai watch with this color. Now, what is special about the Luminor Due? So essentially what that is it's a sandwiched version of the Luminor. It's squeezed down. They've made it significantly smaller. The Luminor has always been a thick, big watch, and they've made narrower versions of it, but the Due is a thin version of it. And Panerai makes a few versions of the Due. It comes in 38mm, this 42mm, as well as a 44mm. So there's a lot of different sizes, but you can see that even at 42mm, it's sizable. It's wide. It's got those really widely spaced 24mm lugs. And so it has an impressive presence on the wrist, but a lot flatter. So I think they did a great job with that because you get the real Panerai viewing experience, the wearing experience, that dial, that presence on your wrist, but in a much thinner size. One of the downsides is that Panerai only rates this for 50 meters of water resistance, which isn't very deep. There's some argument as to exactly what you can do with that. I don't necessarily know if I would take it swimming, but you certainly shouldn't go more than swimming. Panerai makes plenty of diving watches. It's a diving watch themed brand. And of course, they have their impressive submersible collection, which is their true diving watches at 300 meters and above. And then, of course, a lot of their watches have 100 meters of water resistance. So I think some people will find it difficult to accept that they can't take this in the water as much, but I think it's a small price to pay for the size and the versatility, because this is way more comfortable, fits under sleeves, and it can be worn in a lot of places that a larger Panerai can't. Now let's talk about the bracelet, because the bracelet was a very big deal with this collection. You can take the bracelet off with a quick release, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is the third generation bracelet that Panerai has come out with. The first generation bracelet was similar to this, where it had this crescent shape, which was designed to mimic the look of the trade dress patented crown guard, which is that crescent crown guard that has this little lever. It's fun. It was originally designed for water resistance and just sort of become a fun trademark element of a Panerai design. Not every model, of course, but a lot of them. And they sort of echoed that look in the bracelet. The first bracelets were a bit chunky, not as comfortable, interesting looking. And so the second generation bracelets, which there's also a review of on a blog to watch, were a little bit more simple, still very thick, but they lost a lot of that individual character. So now with the third generation, Panerai said we want to go back to a distinctive look, but we want to have a thoroughly modern bracelet, and the bracelet really is great. Thinner links, there is the quick release, and the quick release system is great because it uses a standard straight spring bar, which means that you don't have to have proprietary straps. Any 24mm wide strap that you'd put on another Panerai could fit on here, and that's excellent that they didn't limit it to proprietary straps that only fit within their system, which is great. There's also a special type of screw that they use, which was the first time I saw anything like this. And traditionally, if you wanted to have secure screws that didn't unscrew, you'd have to have this double-sided screw. And if you've adjusted bracelets that have those, you know how annoying it can be to use multiple tools and a lot of dexterity and luck, and you hope that you don't scratch it. And if you had a single screw system, you'd have to use Loctite, which is a glue, to secure it. But then if you want to take it out, you basically have to heat up your watch. It's a whole complicated thing. So Panerai decided to use a screw that you can unscrew with one screwdriver, but has sort of this pivoting head you can see, which means that I think it sort of absorbs some of the friction, which means it's less likely to unscrew through normal wear and tear. And I thought that was a really nice system, and I appreciated seeing that in the watch. No exhibition case back, but inside the watch is the in-house made Panerai P900 automatic movement. Decent movement, has the subsidiary seconds over at 9 o'clock, the time and the date. Very competent movement, and of course the dial is that traditional sandwich design. Lume is really, really good, and of course legibility and beauty is a big reason why people go with Panerai. So a lot of positive things in the Luminor Due. Low water resistance is, I think, one of the small drawbacks. But another one of the upsides is price. I'm accustomed to Panerai watches costing quite a bit, $15,000, $20,000 for certain models that don't necessarily seem that they would have all those features. And Panerai has been coming around to being a little bit more focused on enthusiast pricing and in a competitive marketplace. And I think that's fantastic. So the retail price for the Panerai Luminor Due 42mm, as seen here, is $8,300. Still very much a luxury item, but very competitively priced given what else is in the market and what you get. You can see the full review of the Panerai Luminor Due 42mm on A Blog to Watch. Thanks.